Blessings, friends. It's Maia here with an Astro update. On April 19th and 20th, we'll be having a new moon total solar eclipse where the sun and the moon are coupled together at the same point in the sky at 29 degrees of Aries. Eclipses usually mark prominent happenings in our life throughout the year, individually or on a global scale. This energy can last anywhere up to 6 months and can be easily felt many days prior to its occurrence. Usually when we look back, it happens to be a time of significant turning points in our year. A solar eclipse is like new moon energy times 100. This one, being in Aries, a quite pioneering, confident, and assertive sign, is ruled by Mars, the planet of action, sex, and passion. This eclipse has some fiery energy behind it, as Aries is a fire sign, as well as a cardinal sign full of initiating and directing energy. But also, because this eclipse is happening so close to the beginning sign of Taurus, it will naturally have a bit of Venusian energy to it, more so than the typical Martian energy. Being at the last 29-degree mark in Aries, the beginning of the zodiac, there's an emphasis on endings and new beginnings. Many of us will be feeling good about some kind of accomplishment we've made, or simply how far we've come in certain areas in our life. With this eclipse being a new moon, in addition being close to the North Node, our destiny and purpose, there is a balanced focus on these new beginnings whilst not getting lost in the celebratory phase. Overall, during this eclipse, we can ask, where can we be courageous and bold in our life? In what ways can we take initiation and adventurous new direction? What spiritual growth have we achieved that we can celebrate in our life? When is the appropriate time to sit back and nurture ourselves versus time to take action? Mars, the planet of action, is in the nurturing sign of Cancer, which can ask us to focus on how we're nurturing ourselves, and what areas do we need to focus on self-care, and in what areas do we need to take that initiating energy on. Where are you at on this scale, and where can you find balance on this spectrum? We also have Pluto, the planet of transformation, death, and rebirth, in the mix, squaring this eclipse in Aries. Pluto tends to reveal anything that's been hidden in a disrupting way or in an opportunistic way, depending on what your personal astrological chart looks like and those personal planetary aspects that is happening for you individually. Naturally, with Pluto here making a square, there can be an emphasis on unconditioning and deprogramming certain areas of our life for optimum transformation as we continue to journey on with our North Node purpose. We do have Jupiter, the planet of luck and abundance, in the mix of this planetary concoction, which brings a hopeful energy through spiritual growth and expansion associated with whatever changes, transformations, and resurfacing we may be experiencing with Pluto. We also have Chiron, the wounded healer asteroid, in the sign of Aries at this time, which puts an emphasis on healing our wounds and vulnerabilities so we can in turn motivate and turn these wounds into gifts for ourselves and others. Chiron will be squaring Mars, the planet of action, in the nurturing sign of Cancer, which can show we may have some triggers and sensitivities during this time. Yet, Chiron's not super close to this eclipse, so it won't be as prominent as it could be. We will also have Venus, the planet of harmony and relationship, in Gemini, squaring Saturn, the planet of restructuring, in Pisces. This can bring a communication of boundary and love or relationships, the feeling of having to do something alone or not having the trust or resources you'd prefer to have moving forward. About 2 days after this eclipse, we'll be having Mercury, the planet of communication, going retrograde in the loyal and determined sign of Taurus until mid-May. Naturally, Mercury retrogrades ask us to take precautionary measures when it comes to our transportation, communication, and electronic devices. Mercury retrogrades are a great time for reassessing, reconfiguring, or repairing. With this retrograde falling into the sign of Taurus after this eclipse, there's a reassuring energy of us finding some earthy stability after this fiery Aries new moon. Mercury retrograde in Taurus, Taurus being ruled by Venus, the planet of harmony, we will then be asking ourselves how we could bring more Venusian energy into our lives at this time. Do note that eclipses come in pairs, thus we'll be having a following lunar eclipse 2 weeks later around May 5th. The pairs of eclipses that happen back-to-back really ask us to work on certain parts of our character and soul development. Certain themes come up for us during eclipses, so we may look inside, do the inner work and outer work while journeying onward in alignment on our evolutionary path. Lots of love and eclipse blessings to you all.